Ahoy, mateys and ladies, Whiz here, and welcome to one of my educational videos about what not to do as a YouTuber. And yes, I am filling in for guy who runs the channel who has stuff to do, along with Whis and viewers who also have angel duties to do. So I'm just filling in on this educational video. So, somehow, the guy who runs the channel managed to get himself into a pickle recently. Yeah, that's right, you guys heard me correctly. He got himself into a pickle, probably the funniest shit y'all probably ever heard. But, if you've been watching my videos for any time longer than 2 weeks, you would realize that I come up with some wild ideas for content. Sometimes it's so wild, I consult some other creators that I trust enough to tell me if I'm going too far. When you think about it, it's actually a solid idea to have your checks and balances. And yes, this is probably something that I have not talked about openly with y'all, which I am now doing, by the way. Yes, behind the scenes, I consult some creators. Some like Future Trunks VA, Sane Caulifla, Playboy Kale, and some other people who I consider like well-trusted people to make sure I'm not going too far. Yeah, that's pretty much what goes on. I haven't mentioned it really, but anyways, if I didn't have that, I would have probably put something out that wouldn't have survived today's YouTube climate.
I would love people saying, "Oh, Leafy, come back." I would love to see Leafy come back and try to exist in the landscape today. Like, the content that he was making would never fly on YouTube today, and you have to adapt and overcome the fact that like you can't even curse, bro. Like I don't know.
And as a monetized channel, having that is even more necessary than it was before. But anyways, one of my highly experimental content ideas. If Dragon Ball Z YouTubers had a group chat, managed to see the light of day. If any of you watched it already, then you know what it's about. But for those who don't know, that series was based off of what would happen if some of the most recognizable Dragon Ball Z YouTubers had a giant group chat. It was merely just my take on what would go down, and how everyone would interact based off of what I know about them. I was only really trying to parody the personas of the people who you guys also watch outside of my content. And let's be real, the first episode did really well enough to show that the concept was interesting enough for me to make 6 additional episodes. It's as if I actually did the research to figure out what you guys are also interested in, which really wasn't hard to do, by the way. Next, you'll say, Whiz, are you going to continue the series? As much as I had fun building on the series, I will not be making any more additional episodes, and I'm going to explain why. Although it did have some good entertainment value, there were serious drawbacks that prevented it from becoming the type of videos that I could truly specialize in. There is a spectrum of reactions that some creators that I had parodied on my series. It ranged from a Bridge Goku, who thought it was legitimately funny, all the way to Prince Vegeta himself, who had legitimate concerns that I will be addressing. Next, you will say, wait, they actually watched the videos? Wow, that's crazy. I bet you must have been psyched. Well, I'm gonna keep it $1.50. Most of you like Prince Vegeta and want to see him hit 1 million subs. I do too. But I'm not gonna go out here dick riding asking for shoutouts and all that cringy fanboy shit. Let me break down what actually led me to discontinuing the series. Alright, so I was just waking up when this was going down. I checked my DMs and I'm like, well, that's tough. No, I'm not going to show exactly what happened word for word, just out of respect. I'm not trying to just go through all the effort and just finding the pics of just all the stuff that I had in my Twitter DMs, but anyways, it's not every day where Prince Vegeta actually goes into my DMs asking me to remove his R from 3 of my thumbnails. I mean, if we do the math, that is enough to get a strike from YouTube. Unless if you actually despise me, then y'all most definitely don't want to see that happen. So, I said okay, bet. I'll have her removed and replaced by the end of the day, and if he had any other concerns about the content itself, I said to let me know. I mean, I just wanted to be professional and all that stuff, and actually talk it out like adults. I mean, I'm just a guy who runs a channel, and I actually listen to the concerns that other people may have, unlike YouTube. I'm also not going to act like I didn't rip out his avatar and slapped it onto my thumbnails. That's child play. I don't do that here. I literally just had to deal with a similar situation last week when some guy decides to take my entire video and re-upload it onto their channel. So I did mention something like that to him so that he knows that I can understand where he is coming from. I can tell you this. His reason for it was very simple and straightforward if you have the common sense. But let's be real, not everyone who is watching this video has common sense, so I'm going to simplify anyways, so that way we can all be on the same page. One of the basic art rules in the art community, if you follow anybody in the art community, is to not steal or use other people's art without permission. It also applies anywhere else in life too, but I'm just being specific in this case. And yes, I'm going to admit that I clearly broke that rule, and I would have to be a complete idiot to not acknowledge that. I mean, it probably wouldn't have been as bad if I only used it once, but since I used it 3 times, well, let's just say he was pissed off, and rightfully so. I'm not going to pretend like this was a BS reason to be mad, because I would be mad too if I had an avatar that was so recognizable that anyone who sees it on the thumbnail will think that the person who owns the avatar would be in the video, in this case, Prince Vegeta himself. I mean, it's custom made, and Prince Vegeta paid for a commission, so it's his. Simple as that. I had absolutely no right to use it at all. The fact that I did use it probably was another reason why the first video in my series did better than expected when I first uploaded and published it. Then, I asked him about the disclaimer, which I put in each episode. Yes, I'm talking about the one that goes, disclaimer, this is just a parody series based on what would happen if your favorite Dragon Ball Z YouTubers had a giant group chat. If you are one of the YouTubers that is featured in this video, don't take this as a personal attack. It's all just harmless fun for everyone's entertainment. Yes, that one. To him, it wasn't enough. Especially since I didn't make it clear that it was a parody of him and not actually Prince Vegeta himself. My disclaimer was trashy if you ask him yourself. No, don't actually ask him about it. He's not going to answer you if you do. And yes, I know he will not do that because he is busy with actual life stuff. And he does not have the time to answer everybody's question. And if he did, he would be swamped up with so many people that just want stuff that's answered. Probably just want to meet him. I mean, that's just like status stuff that he has to deal with, so please do not ask him. I'm being extra clear right now. Do not ask him about this. But yes, he did mention that my series is a really good way to not get people to want to work with you. So, am I going to continue the series? Hell no. Will I leave the remaining episodes up that didn't get copyright claimed? Yes. Let my experience serve as a reminder of why you shouldn't do as I did. But, anyways, moral of the story. Don't steal Prince Vegeta's art. There are serious consequences to that. I got a well-justified strike, and I'll see if Prince Vegeta will be kind enough to retract his claims, since I did as he asked before getting the strike. And if he doesn't change his mind, then so be it. I'll hold this L, and I'm just fortunate enough to have my channel live to see another day. My man's Lord Yamcha, Lord of all humans, wasn't so lucky, but that's a different story for another day, so he had to restart from square one, which is kind of sad. I mean, I wouldn't want to have to do with all that, but don't be a dumbass. And if you are a YouTuber that happens to watch my videos, I hope that you learned something from this. I really went out of my way to share my wisdom so you don't do the same thing. So please, do yourself a favor, subscribe if you want to. And this is Whiz here, receiving a strike and going on a 10-minute video And I'm just gonna sign out because I'm done here. I have shared all the wisdom that I need to for today. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Ciao.